Alrighty. Today's agenda, we're going to just quickly cover who we are and why we're delivering this content today, along with a brief overview about the truth about CRM and including some of our recent research. We'll then go into Marketing Automation 101, provide information about one of the newest offerings, Microsoft Dynamics Marketing, followed by a demo of Click Dimensions, the top-rated Microsoft certified marketing automation solution, which was built specifically for Dynamics CRM. And we'll finish up today talking about how to strengthen the ties between sales and marketing. While you read about our speakers, my name is Allison Kendrick. I'm the Marketing Director for C5 Insight, and I have Jeff Abels, who will be actively answering your questions throughout today's webinar, along with a little bit of information about C5 Insight. We're going to bring up just a couple of questions that will help us get to know you a little bit better. So if you can take just a moment to answer these questions. The first one is I'd like to know why you're attending today's webinar. Are you currently evaluating a couple of different solutions? You haven't yet made the decision on which one to use? Are you looking to improve for more insights and best practices into marketing automation? Are you just in the education phase, deciding if you even want to consider marketing for Dynamics CRM? Or is there another reason? If you could go ahead and answer that whole question for us really quickly, and we'll bring up the next one. Jeff, if you'll let us know.
Yeah, we have about 80% of people who have participated so far, so while I'm speaking, I'm allowing a couple more seconds for more participation. And looking at the results, it looks like slightly fewer are here for evaluation, and then the other three categories, improvement, education, and other, it's almost an even split with about a third, just under a third in each of those, and a remainder in the evaluation.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that information. We'll bring up our second poll now. If you're already using a marketing automation platform, which platform are you on? The choices today are Click Dimensions, Microsoft Dynamics Marketing, which are the two we'll be discussing today, Marketo, one of the standalone solutions such as Constant Contact or MailChimp, or select Other if you're either using a different one or you're not currently using one at all.
All right, thanks for voting. We've got about 70% participation, a few more people checking in, and it looks like close to half are Dynamics Marketing, close to the other half, 43%, are Other, with a smaller number, 14%, using Click Dimensions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for providing that information and those insights. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and move forward with today's presentation. Before we dive into previewing a couple, go back here. Before we dive into previewing a couple of the different solutions, I'd like to provide, I don't know why that's automatically forwarding, a bit of a cautionary tale. C5 Insight has devoted more than a decade to studying the true causes of failure in the solutions that we support. You see, to revitalize struggling implementations or to start new ones on the right foot, the lessons of failed projects need to be learned first. Not too long ago, we released a study called CPR for CRM. It's a common misconception that as technology has evolved, failure rates have gone down. If anything, they're on the rise. My take there, people are relying more and more on technology and becoming increasingly vocal about their frustrations when the solution provided isn't intuitive enough or if it doesn't fold easily into their daily activities. As a marketer, and I'm going to try and go back to the slide to share this one statistic with you. Sorry about that. What really caught my attention in the study is that the #1 reported adoption obstacle was integration with other software. Take a moment and consider how many login screens you yourself access daily. That's why we're here today, to discuss options that are a seamless fit with existing CRM software that enhance the overall quality of your customer and prospect database. So here are some of the failure statistics from studies conducted across the past 14 years. Our own research showed 30% at the bare minimum to 60% on the high end, depending on what your definition of failure is. Of course, that can be varied and unclear. Some consider a failure a system that few, if any, use, while others think it means scrapping a system and moving on entirely, either to a different platform or to nothing at all. Another example of failure came out of the 2012 Nucleus research, and it focused on showing the ROI. Footnoted that 30% of participants failed to produce any return, and that was the definition of failure. These don't even account for the multiple failures within the same business. 47% of respondents to our survey said that they had implemented 2 or more times. But even with all that being said, the overall ROI is positive. One study reported that CRM platforms have a $5.60 return for every $1 invested. So there is good news. Those who are figuring all of this out are gaining a great advantage. Before conducting the CPR for CRM research, our own team assumed second-timers would be more likely to succeed. This is not the case. This chart shows satisfaction relative to implementation. If anything, satisfaction decreases with each iteration. And so using a CRM becomes about the software selection instead of developing a useful way to do business. Users begin to think of it as, oh good, another thing management is throwing at me, instead of a tool to tap into a better way to interact with clients, prospects, partners, and even vendors. The truth is, CRM success boils down to the adoption of a business process, which really means people, process, and business strategy are more important than technology. So, now that we've framed up why we're talking marketing automation in tandem with Dynamics CRM, let's briefly discuss some of the key components of marketing automation. Standalone platforms intended for smaller businesses only cover 2, maybe 3 of these categories, such as email templates and sends, lists, and sometimes forms. More robust enterprise platforms, like those we'll be discussing today, can truly change the way a marketing department not only generates and interacts with leads, but also how well they can work with sales to close more deals faster. Today I'm going to spend the majority of time discussing the 2 categories I feel are the most important to a strong revenue generation strategy: campaign management, including live events, and nurture marketing. I'll lightly touch on all the categories you see here, at least at a high level though. We've recently published a blog detailing these categories and the specific questions you might want to consider if you're currently in the process of selecting a solution, which some of you let us know earlier you are. Visit the link provided here. It is case sensitive. I do want to mention that on these bit.ly links. Or you can just check out blogs.c5insight.com for more. So let's dive in. We're going to first discuss a relatively new product, Microsoft Dynamics Marketing. Microsoft acquired a solution then called Marketing Pilot in 2012. In 2014, after the release of Dynamics 2013, it was released as Microsoft Dynamics Marketing, in tandem with another new product called Social Engagement. Briefly, Social Engagement allows enterprises to quote-unquote listen to trending topics by way of hashtags or selecting both positive and negative keywords. Marketing can more easily alert sales or customer service to help mitigate possible PR disasters or interact with happy customers or searching prospects. If you have specific questions about social engagement, stay tuned for our contact information at the close of this webinar. We'll be happy to discuss in more detail with you. But today, we're focusing on marketing. The goal of Microsoft Dynamics Marketing is simple: to help you market smarter by engaging clients, building your pipeline, and demonstrating impact. There are a lot of moving pieces involved with successful marketing plans. Somewhere along the way, the customer experience got lost. Microsoft developed Microsoft Dynamics Marketing to help teams effectively manage their individual workloads while still seeing the big picture. See the chaos of this illustration? What if it looked like this? Let's take a quick peek under the hood, shall we? If you're already using Dynamics CRM 2013 or later, this user interface should look quite familiar. Microsoft has done a tremendous job with the top navigation bar, allowing users to easily drill down into the big categories. I'm going to share a few screenshots of Microsoft Dynamics Marketing now. What I've enjoyed the most about this tool is how, though it might look a little complicated at first, it's quite easy to navigate once you spent just a bit of time in the system. But before we look deeper into the solution, let's consider this. According to Gartner, by 2017, CMOs may have a bigger IT budget than CIOs do. That's a bigger budget for technology than a technology department. More and more marketers are being asked to drive the overall strategy and execution of customer interactions across multiple channels and touchpoints, and to measure ROI on those interactions, not just generate and nurture leads. Continuing to build on this idea of the challenges that CMOs find themselves addressing, this platform was built with mid to large size enterprises in mind. Organizations that have less than 10 dedicated members of a marketing team will likely find this offering to be a bit of overkill, so sit tight and we'll be reviewing Click Dimensions next. I'm trying to show different parts of each of these tools so as not to repeat too much information. Right now we're viewing the Marketing Execution tab, and as you can see, there are a lot of options. This is to arm marketing executives and their teams with the ability to not only deliver better prospect and customer experiences across any channel imaginable, but also to equip them with the means to measure and report on ROI and the effectiveness of their campaigns. Here in Marketing Execution, you see space to house strategic tools, such as marketing plans, vendors, companies, and contacts. But equally important, there is an area where a lot of the tactical touchpoints live, namely email templates, campaigns, events, lists, and more. Diving further into these tactical touchpoints, there is a section specifically for assets and media. Imagine one location to house everything from rate cards to ad schedules and shared files, accessible from anywhere without email servers by passing large files back and forth, or worse, passing the wrong versions of large files back and forth. Does this happen to anybody but me? Again, ideal for teams, the budget tab that we're on now not only houses estimate templates and requests for quotes, but can also be used for expenses, reconciliations, payments, and they can be attached to either a team or a campaign. And finally, what good is a database if it's not reporting out properly? This tool was designed with the entire team in mind and can help managers and executives measure the effectiveness of their campaigns based on a variety of factors, not merely limited to spending versus revenue, but also considering resource allocation, invoice time, and examining estimates versus actuals. And that's going to wrap up our preview of Microsoft Dynamics Marketing. If you're interested in seeing this in more detail, just email luck@C5Insight, and we'll be glad to set up a full demo for you. But speaking of demos, we'll now review Click Dimensions, another top-rated Microsoft certified solution. This is not standalone software. It's imported directly into your CRM, and it functions within so that it looks, feels, and works like a system you already know. Because it's fully integrated and works with sales and marketing, the data can be brought together in dashboards, workflows, queries, and reports. Just know, as I step through some of these processes, that there are similar processes available in Microsoft Dynamics Marketing, but we'll be taking a look specifically at Click Dimensions now. Before we dive in, I just wanted to give you a quick look at my marketing tab in CRM. Just like Microsoft Dynamics Marketing, it's simple and intuitive. We won't be able to drill down into each category, but let's take a look with a live demo now. And if you will hold with me, let me just bring up a new screen. Jeff, can you confirm?
It is coming up now. Yep, I'm seeing Dynamics CRM with the 818 webinar blast.
All righty. So the first concept I'd like to discuss is easily the most tactical: email templates. Every marketer needs a quick, relevant, and hopefully easy way to interact, to spread information about upcoming events and content. So going into the email templates tab from within marketing, I've gone ahead and in the interest of time set up a few of the parameters, but we'll walk through that now. You'll give a name. My personal best practice is I like to name by date so that way I can easily find these templates should I need to reuse again. Notice at the top of the screen you can also clone. So say you come up with a really great template and you'd like to reuse it, maybe just changing the dates or something of that nature, you'll be able to do that. Next, you're going to give your email template a subject. Don't get too bogged down in this state at picking the perfect subject, because that's something that you'll be able to adjust a little bit later right before you actually send your email blast out. And then you'll be able to choose your editor type. Block editor is the most simple and basic. I myself prefer freestyle. It allows me the most flexibility in formatting my email exactly as I'd like it. There's a custom HTML option, so if you have an HTML guru on staff and you just want to drop code directly in, know that that's an option available. And for the purpose of this demo, I would like to preview the newest functionality in Click Dimensions, the drag and drop editor. So once I've made these selections, I'm going to go ahead and open that editor on up now, and if you'll bear with me 1 second. This is what the drag and drop editor looks like. So on the right side of the screen, you can see that you can modify the layouts from pre-built templates. This has been incredibly useful for me, so I'm not having to put on my designer hat while I'm also trying to write engaging content and figure out how to interact with people. From there, you can drill down into the individual content that you'd like, and it's just as easy as pulling over, dragging it, and dropping it where you'd like it to go. Say you decide that you no longer want to see a content block, you can very easily take it out. Once you've begun to build your content, you can also drag and drop. So let's say I want to see what it looks like with this image up at the top. I can just drop it right there, but no, I've decided that I want that to be more of a signature line. I'd like to keep the information I'm trying to get out to my leads above the fold, as they would say. Another really cool feature is that you can personalize emails, so that way when a lead or a contact receives them, it will use their first name. You can also tie in information such as their account manager, email addresses, phone numbers, websites, etc. So I just put together a really quick email. You can also add links, and you can also add images here. If you'd like to take just a quick preview and see what it might look like, the left-hand side is what it would look like on a desktop application. The right is what you would be seeing if viewing it on a mobile phone. So that might let me know that I might need to adjust my column widths so that everything fits on and I'm not having my leads and my contacts scrolling around. You can run a full inbox preview. Again, in the interest of time, I'm not going to do that today, as it does take just a moment to pull that information, but it's a very high-depth preview going into just about every different email application available. One other thing that I really like about Click Dimensions is the ability to add social links, which you can see I've already populated down here. This lets the reader share this content across their social media platform of choice, and then their shares, will be captured as activities associated with either the leads or the contact. This can be very helpful to both marketing and sales to know what is being shared, by whom, and where they're sharing it, so we can hopefully continue to get great content out into the hands of those who will hopefully be reading this email campaign. One other just marketing best practice: watch the amount and the size of images that you include in your marketing campaigns. Too many images or too large files will flag an email as spam. Also, embedding links behind images is a high spam flag. I recommend using this practice sparingly as well. Maybe if you're just going to use either a top banner image or your company's logo at the bottom to link to your web page, but try not to put too many links behind images. And when you run the full inbox preview, one of my other favorite functionalities is that you'll actually be able to get a spam report, so you can find out if your message will be flagged as spam. So once you have completed dropping in your content, you're just going to save. And now we're ready to send this email. We'll go on over here to Email Sends. I'm going to select a new one. And I usually start by selecting the email template I'd like to go with, because I named mine 818 Webinar Blast. I'm able to find it easily. Notice it auto-populated that subject line for me. Here's where you can change it if you've decided, since you created the template originally, that you hate it. A best practice as far as subject lines go: avoid the word free, or using lots of capital letters and punctuation such as exclamation points. These often indicate spam messages as well, and they may not make it through the filters and into the inboxes of your prospects and customers. You can also tie an email send directly into a campaign, and I will discuss campaigns in just a couple more steps. Here in the From area, you can decide if this is going to come directly from the record owner, or if you'd like it coming from a different email address. I always recommend sending directly from the record owner. Somebody is more likely to open an email if it's from somebody they know and hopefully trust. I also, as a best practice, would recommend steering away from sending as a company or from something like marketing@yourcompaniesname.com. You can decide as far as delivery goes if you'd like for this to go out immediately, or if you've discovered the best times. I tend to like to send emails myself first thing in the morning, so they're top of mind as people begin their workday. So you can either select yes immediately, or if you select no, you'll be able to select a date and time here. You'll then be able to choose the marketing lists that you would like this sent to, and it can go to both lead and contact marketing lists from your CRM. Scrolling a little bit further down, you can select a text-only version, so that way if anybody that is a recipient of your email does not allow HTML emails, you'll still be able to deliver their content. And one of my other favorite best practices that ClickDimensions allows is split testing. So you can run testing with different from names and emails. You can vary subject lines, or you can even select different content and email templates. Then what you'll do is so once you've said that yes, you want to do this, you'll define your test group size. So say I'm sending to a marketing list of 2,000, maybe I'll split test with 200. Then you'll select what's going to determine the winning strategy. Is it unique click rate or unique open rate? And then one of my other favorite functionalities is that you can choose if you want the system to select automatically and just move forward with the winner, or if you'd like time to come back in and review what the split test statistics were, and then from there send your own email campaign that way. And then once you're ready to go, you'll hit send up here at the very top, and you're off and running. And so you even hit send even if you're delaying the send for another day. It will just go ahead and queue that up in the system. Once you've already sent your email campaign, by visiting the same page again, and right here, before you were in drafts, if you go into the Sent tab, you'll be able to look into analytics such as amount of deliveries, amount of opens, clicks, and when it was sent. And you can even, from within this tab, drill down a little bit further into some pretty neat and sophisticated reporting that ClickDimensions offers. Next, we're going to move into one of my very favorite things to discuss, which are nurture or drip campaigns. I used to be terrified of nurture campaigns, full disclosure, because at first they do seem a little bit complicated, but once you get to know them, they're actually quite easy to set up. Navigate to my nurture programs section while I tell you a little bit more about them. In short, nurture marketing or drip campaigns support conditional logic and branching scenarios that move leads automatically through a sales cycle while notifying internal teams or representatives at customizable interviews. So before we set up a nurture program, I'm going to give you an example using a couple of my favorite friends. Phoebe hits up company ABC's website to inquire about their phalanges. She decides not to purchase at the time, but having filled out a contact form, company ABC now has a valuable way to interact with Phoebe. Chandler and Web Sales received Phoebe's inquiry because the form she filled out was scored to send an alert to his department email queue. After speaking with her and learning of her decision to hold off on purchasing, Chandler moved Phoebe into a nurture cycle. She received specific, targeted content based on the kinds of phalanges she'd indicated an interest in. Chandler occupied no further time chasing Phoebe for a sale until one day, Phoebe clicked on a link for the phalanges liquidation sale in an email that she had received. When she clicked, Chandler was notified. He contacted Phoebe and had a relevant conversation that resulted in the sale of phalanges. So sorry to use that little Friends reference on you guys, but just wanted to kind of give you a picture for what exactly nurture marketing campaigns can accomplish. They're kind of like a background process, so you can set it and forget it, go on with more active marketing strategies, and then when somebody raises their hand to maybe indicate an interest in doing business with you, you will have the information that you need. So right here, we're looking at the Nurture Campaign Builder. You'll click Start, and the very first thing I'm always going to do is to send an email. Now, you'll build the email templates for your Nurture campaigns in the same area that I already previewed earlier as email templates. So all you'll do is go in here and you'll set the template that you'd like to use. And again, you can associate it to a specific record owner, or you can just have it come general inbox, depending on your best business practices. The first rule that I like to use is, did the prospect click a link? Because if there's a specific link embedded in there, maybe a link to a sale or a certain piece of downloadable content, or you name it, I would want to know about it. So if the prospect clicks the link, the next thing that I have decided is that it will get assigned, and then that newly assigned user will be notified, hey, Phoebe just clicked on a link. If the person does not click on a link, that branch ends and no further action is taken. Until moving a little bit further down the nurture cycle, we've decided to wait just under 2 weeks, wait 12 days. And you can customize this by weeks, months, and days, whatever you think is best for your business. You're going to send another email. We're going to follow the same steps. If the prospect clicks on a link, then the user will be notified to maybe have a call with that prospect. If not, the branch ends and we wait again. This time maybe a little bit longer. Now we're going to send our third email, and then once this new nurture cycle is complete, then we'll notify the user, hey Chandler, Phoebe's nurture cycle is complete. Now might be a really good time to check back in with her. One other thing that I really like about the nurture programs is that you can either associate them to a marketing list, or in just a minute I'll go into a lead record and you can run nurture quickly and easily ad hoc if you'd like to, instead of associating it to an entire marketing list. All right, moving right along into a couple more of the functionalities. We are now going to talk about forms. So right here I'm showing you a live form that's on C5 Insight's webpage if anybody would like to contact us for any reason. I built this form in ClickDimensions, and I used a very similar drag and drop functionality similar to what you already saw in email templates. Now these fields are mapped into our CRM. We've embedded the form on the web page, and it's going to capture the information, move it seamlessly into our CRM, and it can even score the lead based on which page somebody landed on. So just yesterday, Misty Ann Cloudy from the Weather Channel hit c5insight.com and she filled out a form asking for more information. So we captured all of her relevant information here, her company, her name, her title. She opted not to provide any phone numbers, but that's okay because we didn't have those as required fields, our email and website. Now, a couple of different things that you're looking at right here. Because this form came in through c5insight.com, it was automatically tied to a campaign. This means at the end of the month, when I need to go share what marketing activities I conducted, I can give a real-time view into how many people are interacting with our website. And I can make that automatic, so it's just one less step I have to take to go populate that data. Also, as I mentioned earlier, you can easily run nurture programs from within the lead, and that's done right up here at the very top. If I clicked run nurture, I could immediately put Misty into a nurture program. Another thing, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, is if you go into Misty's activities, I can drill even deeper into how Misty has been interacting with us. I see that not only did she fill out the Contact Us form, but she's pretty gung-ho on learning about some marketing and some CRM because she's already signed up for 2 of our webinars. We're going to discuss this just a little bit more later, but I wanted to go ahead and give you a preview while we are live in CRM. And the final functionality that I'd like to cover while we're in CRM today are campaigns. Here at C5 Insight, we use campaigns for live event management, such as trade shows and conventions, as well as webinars, such as the one that you're on right now, and ongoing marketing activities, such as website visits and content downloads. So we're going to take a quick look. I just created a new campaign. Let's say that we're going to be going to a CRM conference. I'll enter that information in here. The campaign type, because it's a live event, I'll select event. I'll go ahead and click Save. And now, because I've told it specifically what kind of campaign it is, the form went ahead and gave me more information. Once it's live, I can add responses, such as maybe those who I met at the booth. I can tie in leads to a campaign, and I can build marketing lists. So for those of you who are familiar with going to live events and you're at a trade show booth and you have your scanner and you scan everybody in, and at the end of the show you get that great Excel, you can import that directly into CRM. You can assign it out from here to different sales reps. You can assign activities directly related to the campaign and move forward in that way. Now when I'm evaluating my 2016 budget request, I can easily report on the activities that generated the most leads, which closed in sales, and how much I actually spent this year. Tying leads to marketing campaigns is a great functionality that then allows me to evaluate how I will be spending my money, my time, and my team's time in the following year. So that concludes the live demo portion of Click Dimensions within CRM. I'm going to now move into back into our PowerPoint presentation, so if you'll bear with me for 1 second. And looks like we have moved back in. So now that we've covered a couple of solutions, let's chat for just a minute about the reason we're really here, strengthening that connection between sales and marketing. I don't know about you, but I've worked in plenty of organizations where getting these two vital departments to work together is like navigating snack time with cranky toddlers. I think ultimately this is why CRM exists and why standalone marketing automation software has no place in enterprise-level business. Providing one view to prospects and customers is key, and CRM makes it relatively easy to do this. Let's take a look at 3 functionalities that will help sales and marketing work together better. A relatively new way is called guided processes, and this helps sales and marketing work together with the introduction of guided processes. See, sometimes there's a bit of disconnect between what sales feels is important information and what marketing needs to collect. These guided processes ensure everyone stays on the same page as a prospect moves through the sales funnel, easily providing key information to help segment, target, and view where a lead is in the pipeline. So I just captured a few screenshots of the way that C5 Insight, we ourselves use guided processes. This is called our fitness assessment, and it's used to figure out if a prospect is both fit and ready for our services. Starting with the very top screen, we're in the highest level phase, the lead capture phase. So we just need some basic information about this lead, namely, how did they get here? That's pretty important to marketing, right? Are they an existing account or contact? These aren't required fields, but it's helpful to know if they are. And what type of relationship we're looking at. Are they a prospect? Do they want to be a channel partner? Moving into the next pane, we've now acquired all of that information, and the guided processes will not allow you to move to the next step until you've completed all of the required fields. So now we are looking at, are they a fit lead? So additional information that we require at this time. What is their job title? What is their role? Are they an influencer? Are they a decision maker? And then what department do they reside in? And then as well as we like to know information overall about their company, if they would be a good fit to work with us, and some other information there. Once we filled out the second step, moving to the bottom pane, we're now at the readiness assessment. So we have determined that this lead is a fit lead. They would be a good match for the services and solutions that we provide, but are they ready to move forward with either a CRM or a SharePoint environment? And here's where we begin to report on some of the challenges that they may have faced up until this point, and how exactly we can move forward in helping this client, what their requirements may be of us in order to move to the next step. By following these steps, you're ensuring to capture necessary information, and it keeps sales and marketing truly on the same page. We touched on this briefly in the Click Dimensions demo, but it's a big part of CRM on the whole, activity-associated views. We often want to force our own agendas on our prospects and customers. Activity-associated views let you know how your prospect is choosing to interact back with you. I touched on this in the demo, but we're talking about Misty Ann again. She filled out a contact form and registered for 2 of our webinars focused on marketing and CRM. Now we know how to better interact with her in order to provide relevant content and not bother her with solutions or information that she has no stake in. And finally, remember back to the beginning of this webinar when we discussed integration with other systems and its links to CRM satisfaction? I'm going to go ahead and make a broad, sweeping generalization that if you're here learning about Microsoft Dynamics CRM, your organization is likely using Microsoft Outlook as well. Why not make it a part of the sales cycle and seamlessly tie in the email information? By tracking emails to a contact or a lead, it houses all interactions right there in CRM. You can even track meetings and appointments. CRM is a corporate memory, so you want to make sure that it's recording adequate information. And now check that out. Right here in the center of the screen, so very top of mind and easy for sales to find, we have this information about how we recently interacted with Marianne. Let's say that I qualify and assign this lead out to a sales rep soon. They can now call and say, hey, Miss Deanne, can we chat about that CPR for CRM study? Now we stand out. We're not just another cold call aiming to schedule an introductory call. We can have a meaningful conversation with Miss Deanne. And isn't that the point of CRM? To more effectively manage relationships? We're almost done here, but before we go, I'd like to share one more thing with you. The luck principle. Remember how I said it's not just about technology? You've also got to have luck. And here at C5 Insight, that stands for listen, understand, connect, and know. These 4 components may sound easy, but have you ever noticed that what sounds easy is often much, much harder in practice? I don't mind sharing that the luck principle is our secret sauce. Our own clients who can effectively execute in these 4 areas across their entire organization experience collaboration and relationship management success. Luck means listening in all sorts of creative ways and remembering what is said. Luck means understanding, making that knowledge available for searching, to see individual stories, and to aggregate those stories to analyze thousands of stories. Luck means connecting, having a process for more relevant and timely connections built on the listening and understanding that we've already covered. And luck is knowing, working internally to assess success and failure, and to constantly improve. And good luck. This is what CRM solutions are for. Combine these practices and you are already on the road to success. I'd like to take a moment to thank each of you for attending today's webinar about marketing for Microsoft Dynamics CRM. There are a number of upcoming webinars that you can check out. If you just go to events.c5insight.com, you'll be able to see our full listing, but I wanted to highlight just a couple for you today. We do have an upcoming full webinar on CPR for CRM and how to avoid failure. So if you think there's a chance you might be struggling, or if you're considering a new implementation and you want to start the project out on the right foot, this would be a great webinar for you. For any of you who are using a SharePoint environment, we have another great webinar coming up called Failure to Connect, Why You're Not Getting More from SharePoint. And it dives deeper into the idea that technology is a thing, but it's not the only thing, and ways to safeguard that investment. And if you've enjoyed today and maybe aren't fully on board with Microsoft Dynamics just yet, we will have a webinar later in September comparing marketing options for both Salesforce and Dynamics CRM. And coming up soon, we have a self-assessment. A lot of people don't know if their CRM environment is failing, so we'll have that live on C5 Insight's website in the coming weeks. And finally, just want to provide you with a few different ways to get in touch with us. The easiest is our email address is luck@c5insight.com. Now that I've told you about the luck that we can bring for your business, I've also listed our phone number and our website, c5insight.com, and we would love the opportunity to interact with you on any of our social media channels or by tuning into our blog at blogs.c5insight.com. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy days to attend, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.